Hello and welcome back to Aetheral Space 17.16, The Sight of Stars. We are back with the
We are
conclusion
back.
to our little flashback arc.
Oh, this is the end?
Yeah.
Alright, well, let's just jump right in then, because I'm curious. Hazley sulked. Sitting there in the kitchen of her home, she sulked, sitting on a chair with her knees pulled up to her chest. She hugged those knees with everything she had. She could trust her knees not to leave, at least. Knees would always stay by your side. Unless you stepped on a landmine. Even then, you could carry them around in a backpack. What the fuck is she on about? Sometimes. Hazley, you're a freak. Negan's words ran through her head again, pulling her out of her dark mood just a little. I will return with others. She shouldn't get mad at him. She really shouldn't. She knew him well enough that she knew he wouldn't just leave unless he really needed to. From what he'd told her, he was part of a whole team of sword-wielding heroes. Probably Director Pandershi was more dangerous than he'd expected, so he'd gone to get reinforcements. That made sense. He could have taken her, though. The sulk returned, and Hazley hugged her loyal knees tighter. At the counter, her mother sighed as she prepared dinner. It would be a stretch to say she was cooking. Something like that was far too dangerous for Director Pandershi to allow for his citizens, but she was warming up a prepackaged meal the courier chute had delivered. As the machine began its work, she looked over her shoulder at her daughter. Come on now, she said. You're really this upset just because that stranger left? It's for the best. You know how it is outside. People from those sorts of places are nothing but trouble. You know how it is outside. No, she knew how Pandershi told her how it was outside. She knew how Puck taught her how it was outside. Just a few short conversations with Negan Rush had been enough to dash her confidence in those lessons to pieces. Hazley? Said her mother, unimpressed by her sullen silence. Oh, come on. Hazley offered only a grunt. How could everyone just accept this so easily? They'd all met Negan Rush, too. Were they all just too stupid to understand? Fine, be like that. Her mother shook her head, turning back to the counter as it dinged. Mark my words, young lady. You'll forget all about all this hassle by the end of the week. And I'll be accepting your apology when you... Her words trailed off, and Hazley didn't care to hear the end of them. She just hugged her legs tighter and buried her face into her knees. She hated this place, this kitchen, this house, this ward. I want to see the sky. The words came into her mind perfectly formed. No, maybe that wasn't right. It was like they'd always been there, but she'd never noticed them. It was only after meeting Negan that she understood. What she'd always wanted, but never known how to express. She had to be patient, that was all. Her fingers dug into her legs. If she waited, as Negan had said, he would return and cut this world-sized cage right open. He had to. He had... Ah! Hazley could smell smoke. She looked up. Her mother was standing in the middle of the kitchen. Smoke was coming from her. Her face was tilted up towards the ceiling, so far back her neck was nearly breaking. Her limbs were fixed in place, spread at horrible angles like a human tree. Her eyes and mouth open, stretching grotesquely wide in an expression of utter torment. Hazley blinked. Mom? The alien sounds trickled from her mother's throat, expressing a pain so complete it smothered even screams. Her mother's eyeballs shuddered in their sockets, her limbs spread out wider, and Hazley heard the crack of bone as they went further than they should. And the smoke. The smoke, the smoke, the smoke. The smoke was rising from the back of her mother's neck, black and red all mixed together, vaporized blood. Something was burning inside of her. What was Hazley doing? Why was she just sitting there? She had to do something. She had to get up, and her mother's head fell off. Whatever was burning inside her burnt through so much of her neck that it could no longer support its passenger. With a wet thud, the severed head dropped to the kitchen floor. Smoke continued to rise from the stump, even as the body too collapsed in a pile. The last sound Hazley's mother made was the inhuman squeak of a worn-through throat. Slowly, Hazley got up. Slowly, Hazley looked down. She could hear her own heartbeat. It was slow. Too slow. She should be panicking right now. She was sure of that. Something was wrong. What had just happened? That wasn't right. Something was... She felt like someone had poured cold water over her brain. She was drowning. She could still smell smoke. What did she do? Did she call someone? Who? Could they put it back on? Was there a mop? Did she clean the floor? No, too slippery, too slippery. She took a step. She slipped. It touched her face, red. Oh. Oh, God. Outside, she needed to find someone. Outside, this was bad. Something was wrong. She was going to be sick. Had she been sick already? She couldn't tell. Her hands were shaking, but it wasn't cold. She hugged her arms tight. The door was in front of her. Had she walked? She'd walked. Had she walked? The doorway passed through her. She needed to call someone. Outside. She went outside. She needed to find someone. Quick. Oh, God. She could still smell smoke. Hazley walked through Ward 8. Hazley looked and Hazley listened. Hazley saw and Hazley heard. I'm glad she has all 5 of her senses.
That's 2 senses.
Looked, listened. Oh, you're right. She's a fool. She has 2
Yeah,
of her
he
5
was looking for
senses.
that gotcha.
Damn. Nobody was screaming. It wasn't allowed. Whatever was happening to everyone was too painful to scream. You weren't allowed to divert any attention at all from that agony at the back of your neck. As Hazley staggered through the streets, all she could hear was a chorus of thousands of choking gasps. And then, thump, 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 heads hitting the floor like someone was playing the drums. No, someone was dropping tomatoes. A queasy, hysterical laugh trickled from Hazley's throat at that thought, and a second later she hunched over into the gutter and vomited. She had lived her entire life in Ward 8. Every severed head looked at her with familiar eyes. Every pile of limbs was someone she had known. She saw that Graham Plink's corpse had set alight in the middle of the town square. It wasn't the only one. The windmill was on fire, too. Hazley looked up at it, uncomprehending. Everyone had been killed. Everyone. Nobody had been spared. She saw smoke rising from a crib. Her vision wavered in and out of clarity, as did her consciousness. Was this what drowning felt like? Why was she drowning and not burning like everybody else? Help. Someone help. Negan? She didn't know if she thought it or said it, but her prayer went unanswered all the same. Nobody was here. Nobody was listening. Nobody above or below. Hazley looked. Surely she couldn't be the only one left. She opened doors one after the other, looking into houses. Each one was filled with death. She opened doors. All that was behind them was smoke, 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 smoke. She was choking. She told the door she loved it, and it opened for her. And when she saw what was behind it, she realized it must have hated her. And Hazley walked and walked and walked. How long did Hazley walk for? Even she couldn't say. Her mind was hanging onto her body by a long, thin string, like a balloon, and she could barely see what was going on with it all the way down there. Was she hungry? Was she thirsty? Probably. That was good, though. Everyone in Ward 8 had died. She confirmed that with her own eyes. It wouldn't be right for her to keep living without a care. If she was hungry and thirsty, that meant she would die soon, too. Her walking had become staggering. That meant she was tired, too. Great. Soon she'd drop and not have to be here anymore. Right? That was what she wanted, right? She was stuffing her face with something. Snacks from a vending machine. All the machines had turned off a little while after everyone had died, so she'd had to smash into the machine with a farball bat. Why had she done that, though? Didn't she want to die? She shouldn't be eating if she wanted to starve. I will return with others. Negan had said that, hadn't he? Yes, she had to stick around so she could explain what had happened. What had happened? She didn't even know. What help could she be? Better to roll over and die. Did she think she was so important that she should be allowed to be the lone survivor? How disgusting. Die! Die! Drop dead, you piece of trash! She was drinking something. A bottle of warm water she'd pulled from a deactivated fridge. The stench in the house was awful, but she guzzled the water all the same. How come? Didn't she want to die of thirst? Why was she drinking? Tears stung at her eyes. But if she was so sad, why didn't she just die? I will return with others. He had promised. He had promised he would come back, and with her silence she had promised to wait for him. Yes, that was how it worked, so she couldn't die. She couldn't die yet. She couldn't die until she met Negan Rush again. Eventually,
Hazley confirmed immortal?
What'd you say?
Hazley confirmed immortal?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think she can die.
She's not meeting Negan Rush again.
What the hell? I'm hitting her with everything I've got, but why isn't she dying?
I've not met Negan Rush again yet.
Eventually they came. The Sealy Rangers and other workers, collecting and extracting the corpses one by one from where they lay. Some they took out of Ward 8, but most they put just buried in mass graves out in the woods. Hazley watched from atop the hill, peering out from the corner of a building. Should she go and speak to them, this army of cleaners? No. Something in her gut told her that would be her last bad idea. She'd been sneaking around, she'd heard them talking. They kept saying the name of the person who did this. They kept talking among themselves, cursing that name again and again and again. Cursing the name of Negan Rush. Liars. These weren't the sorts of people she could reveal herself to. Liars like this would have nothing good to offer. If they found her, she knew in her bones nobody else would ever find her again. So she watched from a distance, hiding herself deep in Ward 8. She even thought she could just keep doing that, until these people finished what they needed to and left the ward entirely. That was far too naive. Whatever had happened, it had turned Ward 8 into hell. Hell didn't release you from suffering that easily. Hazley looked down the hill, and someone else looked up. Her breath caught in her throat. She'd seen this person before, not long ago, in the forest where Negan Rush had fought Lucifer Westmore, but she'd known him before that. Every child in Z-Pan knew him. He was like Puck, a fixture of the culture, the hero who would shield the city from any threat, the knight whose blade would cut down any evil, the leader of the Unseelie, Zephyr Pandershi's most trusted lieutenant. It was no surprise he was here to oversee the cleanup. Timeline-wise, he's got to be close to 200, doesn't he?
He is he's an old guy at this point.
Jesus. The leader of the Unseelie, Zephyr Pandershi's most trusted lieutenant. It was no surprise he was here to oversee the cleanup.
Well, this is only like 5 years ago anyway, but...
Hazley looked down the hill, and the man called One Star looked up at her. He can see me, she knew, a shudder crawling down her spine. He can see me with his eyes closed. One Star smiled. Run! She was already sprinting away before the thought finished running through her head. It was automatic, reflexive, the instinct of prey when presented with a predator. She ran with everything she had, fleeing into the abandoned part of Ward 8, the part of the ward they'd already finished cleaning up. Her breath burnt in her lungs, her eyes were wet with terror, her legs flared with pain as they were pushed past their limits. She ran full pelt for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3, before finally daring to look over her shoulder. He was right behind her, in the mouth of the alley she was running through. His eyes were still closed, his lips were still spread into a soft smile, and ever so slowly he was walking towards her. "Are you all right?" he asked kindly. "I'm sorry, but something terrible has happened. This is no place for a child. Won't you come with me?" His voice was gentle, but his sword was drawn. Hazley kept running, even when her legs started to fail her, even when she was flailing and nearly falling over with every step. But every time she looked over her shoulder, One Star was there, still walking slowly towards her, still getting closer. She didn't have the breath to scream, so the noise she let out was much like the dying gasps of the other Ward 8 residents. It was like a nightmare. No, maybe it was a nightmare. Maybe she would soon wake up and realize that everything that had happened was just a terrible dream. "You need to calm down, little one," One Star said. "Come here. Let me help you." No. Even if this was a nightmare, she didn't want to go anywhere near this man. She'd heard stories of his virtue and heroism, every child of Z-Pan had. But now that she was hearing his voice in person, there was something atrocious about it. This was not a thing that helped people. So she ran, so she stopped. She didn't stop by her own will, there in the middle of the empty street. It was sudden, painful, her body freezing mid-step as if she'd been pinned to the air itself by an invisible nail. Her body wouldn't do what she told it. She was a statue, she couldn't breathe, she couldn't even blink. Oh yeah, his ability sticks you to stuff, right?
He can stick things together, yeah.
Orange aether crackled around her body, and Hazley heard One Star speak as he slowly approached. "My apologies for restraining you," One Star said sadly. "You were just so hysterical, I couldn't see any other recourse." His shadow fell over her from behind, tall and long. He kept walking. "Did you know my ability is to stick things together?" he continued. "I just went ahead and stuck every part of your body to every other part. So that's why you're stuck. It's actually very easy to do something like that against someone without aether." She heard his sword scrape against the ground. He kept walking. "Are you concerned about my weapon?" One Star asked. "Oh, you needn't be. I only have this in case somebody dangerous appears. As an innocent girl, I must protect you after all, mustn't I? You're safe with me. Please don't worry. I don't mean to brag, but I've never once been cut by an enemy's blade." The shadow stopped, drowning the light entirely. and One Star's voice came from closer than ever. "Here," he breathed. "Let me help you." Didn't, so I have a question.
Yeah?
How talked about was One Star? Because Musashi didn't remember his past as Negan, but he immediately knew who One Star was.
Though he was Satan's greatest soldier during Henry the Glutton's days.
But, like, he's important enough that he's come up in conversation for Musashi to know in the, 5 years he's been around.
Like a historical figure, so if he knows Hitler supremacy, he's like it was a big deal. This is like he's the go-to name of like fucked up guy in the supremacy generally.
Ugh. It's like how people call things Hitler. It's like, you're One Star.
Exactly.
His hand moved, but when his sword struck, it hit only empty space. His gentle smile faded into a slight frown. His sword moved down, tapping the ground where Hazley had just been standing, but there really was no sign of her. In just an instant, she had vanished. Olo Aether sparked. One Star clicked his tongue. Hazley's rescuer chuckled. "Aren't you lucky I'm such a nice guy? That was almost the end for you. Or the beginning of the end, I guess, knowing old One Star. I'll accept your gratitude whenever you're ready, okay?" Hazley stared up, dumbfounded. The man cocked his head. "What, did seeing everyone die make you go crazy or something?" I get that. Yeah, that makes sense. I kind of need you present right now, though, so would you mind locking in?" Hazley's silence wasn't because she'd gone crazy, no matter what this man said. It had two sources. The world she'd suddenly found herself in, and the one who had brought her there. There was a sky above her, a real sky, a black sky. She wasn't standing in Ward 8 anymore. She wasn't even standing in Zepan. She was in the old ruins outside the city, in a courtyard between withered skyscrapers and crumbling streets, staring up at the sky. How had she even gotten here? There was a blank slate in her mind, like someone had taken a rag to the memory and just rubbed it clean. That wasn't her biggest concern, though. At that moment, Hazley was far more focused on what she could see above her. There were stars. Tiny twinkling points of light, spread all across the blackness, so far away, their light stretching across unfathomable distances to reach this place. There really was a world outside of Zepan. She could see it painted all above her. Despite everything, she felt a vacant smile start to come to her lips. That smile didn't last long. As soon as she took a look at her rescuer, it became a scowl. The man just grinned wider at that. He seemed the type to derive pleasure from the hatred of others. Popcorn.
Lucifer Westmore sat on a nearby rotted bench, legs crossed, as casual as could be. His eyes were narrowed, pitch-black pupils stirring, his smile infuriating. She didn't fully understand why, but just looking at this guy seemed to piss her off right now. It hadn't felt like that the first time she'd seen him, though. "You saved me?" she whispered. "There we go." He waved a hand. Yes, little girl, I am your saviour." She hugged her arms tight around herself, taking a cautious step back. "Why?" "Well, I'm just such a nice guy," he smiled. "Believe you me, rescuing someone from One Star Man is enough to get me into heaven 100 times. I'm basically set for afterlife now." She narrowed her eyes. "What?" Smile faded from Lucifer's face just a tad. Guess you're not in the mood, huh? That makes sense. You did just see everyone you know get their heads burnt off after all. His careless words cracked the wall inside her mind, and through that crack the images came, suddenly clear and mercilessly pristine. Her mother's head lying on the floor, the streets running red with blood, smoke rising from a crib. The dead, the dead, the dead, the dead. Hazley hunched over and was sick. Lucifer wrinkled his nose in distaste at the sight. Gross. As she continued to retch, he inspected his nails with mild disinterest. "What?" she gasped. "You said that already." "What happened?" she squeaked, finishing her sentence. The smile disappeared fully from Lucifer Westmore's lips as he jabbed a thumb at the back of his neck. "All you nice livestock folk have tracking chips in the back of your neck. They put them in when you're born, or a wellness check for the older folks." Hazley's hand drifted to the back of her own neck, groping at it. She couldn't feel a thing. No scar, nothing. Was he telling the truth? "I say it's a tracking chip," Lucifer said seriously. "But smarty pants like Pandershi Man can do a bunch of nasty stuff with it, I'm sure. Wouldn't have been that difficult to have them all overheat and put a merry end to old Ward 8. Sorry. His voice was cold and matter-of-fact, even as Hazley looked at him in horror. If she understood what he was talking about, the one who'd done this was... The director killed us? Killed them? She whispered, stumbling over her words. Why? Lucifer shrugged lightly. I can see him doing it. I'm not usually one for judging others on a moral level, but I'll happily say that Zephyr Bandershi is a worthless piece of shit. He's all messed up in the head too, so who knows how he convinced himself. Hazley clenched her fists as she picked herself up off the ground, nails digging painfully into her palms. You work for him, she spat. Another shrug. I never said I was any better. And besides, kid, it's worked. Today's my resignation day, which is why I'm gonna help you out. He laughed cheerfully, his clear jubilee such a contrast to the grim world around him that Hazley couldn't help but take a step back. She'd felt a primal danger from the approach of one star. But right now she couldn't say she felt much safer around Lucifer Westmore either. He was another freak. What do you mean? She asked, voice trembling. You're gonna help me? Lucifer lifted a hand, pointing his palm towards her. You're mad, right? Yeah, I bet you're mad. I would be. Pandershi Man basically killed everyone you know and love on a whim. That's what you say, she mumbled. You could be lying. Sure enough, Lucifer chuckled. Do you think I am? She looked up, staring into his dark eyes. It was strange. Despite how much she disliked him, despite how much his very presence repulsed her, she couldn't actually imagine this man lying to her. Deception that simple seemed like something he wouldn't bother with. Right? He smirked. You want to kill him, don't you? Yes or no? Hazley looked down at the ground, the head on the floor, the blood in the streets, the smoking cribs, the corpses, all the corpses. She could still see them. She would probably see them forever now. Yes, she hissed. Great, Lucifer said. That actually lines up really nicely with what I've got going on. You see, I have a personal policy to fuck over my boss on the way out. It's just not one of those great principles I've got. You're a great opportunity to ruin Pandershi's man's day a couple of years down the line. Yup. She looked back up at him, taking a step closer. How? She asked, mouth dry. Popcorn.
I lost the place. Let me look up mouth dried. Give me a sec.
Breeze.
Lycidas, he replied simply. She blinked. What? It's one of my abilities, he snapped his fingers. Lets me beam my memories into receptacles, even people. Against someone with aether defenses, the best I can do is a little flash of memory. But with a normie like you, I bet I can give you a nice little package of experience and skill. Enough to give you a fighting chance against Pandershi Man, yeah? Her eyes flicked down to the batons at his hips. You'd make it so I can fight? Like you? Not exactly like me, Lucifer shrugged. After all, you ain't got the secret sauce. I'm talking about aether. But you'd be able to swing a sword around pretty good. That's what Rushman was teaching you, right? Think of it as a shortcut. He raised a hand. How about it, kiddo? Hazley gulped, looking at Lucifer's extended hand. Negan wasn't here. Wherever Negan was, it was very far away, but she felt like she knew what he would say. This wasn't right. A shortcut like this wouldn't lead anywhere good. But, then again, he wasn't the one standing in the middle of a nightmare. Maybe in a situation like this, the only ones in hell you could trust were the devils. Do it, she said, mouth dry. Olo Aether tittered around Lucifer's fingers. You sure? She thought about it for another long moment. Yeah. Go ahead, and I'm just fucking with you, Lucifer interrupted. I already did it. Rejoice, girl. You're the second one today to receive such a prestigious gift from yours truly. He rose from the bench, still as casual as could be, and brushed the dust from his pants. Hazley, for her part, just looked down at her hands. So these memories are permanent?
Yeah, she's got, experience and stuff that she didn't actually have.
I don't feel any different, she mumbled. You'll feel it the next time you pick up a sword. Lucifer turned away, already sauntering down the street. I gave you what I know about Zepan's layout and structure, too, so you're welcome. You shouldn't have much trouble being a little rat in the walls. Have fun! He was right. She could feel it now. Foreign memories unfurling and making themselves known. There were traces of something personal, growing up in alleys, fleeing from soldiers, doing whatever it took to survive, parental flesh between her teeth. But mostly just information. Experience she'd never had, slowly meshing with her own. knowledge she'd never acquired, slowly slotting into place. She looked up. "Why'd you do this for me?" she asked again. "Really?" Lucifer stopped walking. When he turned to look at her again, that same smug smile was still on his lips, but there was a trace of something else in his dark eyes. "When the world decides people like us are to die, and we decide to live anyway, we become the world's problem to deal with," he said quietly. "Basically, I'm projecting on you hard, kid. My old man's old man was the bastard of a supreme. Makes someone like me inconvenient, you know? I've had people needing to kill me ever since I was a kid. You'll probably be dead soon anyway, because cause Pandershi Man some trouble before you go. 'Kay? 'Kay." His walk resumed, but Hazley still wasn't done. "Where are you even going?" she called out, her voice echoing through the ruined city ring. With a sigh, he turned to look at her again. A playful smirk tugged at his lips as he raised his hand once again, holding his index finger and thumb just a few inches away from each other. A giggling strand of Olo Aether traversed the gap between digits. "Tell me," he said. "What's this?" She frowned. "That's Aether, right?" "Nah," he grinned slyly. "This is the root of all evil, and I'm looking for the thing that gave it to us. See you around, kid." This time his exit had no interruptions. Whistling softly to himself, Lucifer Westmore faded into the fog and out of Hazley's life. Just like Negan Rush, she never saw him again. After a minute, her mind still wrestling with the new information given to it, Hazley looked over at the bench where Lucifer had been sitting. He'd left something there for her. Had she just not noticed until now, or had he messed with her memory one last time? She approached. Resting there, gleaming in the dim light, were a pair of sharp swords. She reached down and took them in her hands. Despite everything, a soft smile of genuine awe came to her face. It was just like he'd said. It was as if she'd held these weapons thousands of times before. Resolving herself, she turned her head to look at the mountain called Zepan. Somewhere deep in that structure was the fortress Oberon. Somewhere deep in that structure was the one she now hated more than anyone else in the world. Lucifer Westmore had said the root of all evil was Aether, but as far as Hazley was concerned, it was the man who had slaughtered the people of Ward 8. She promised herself. She promised the world. It won't happen today. It won't happen tomorrow. But someday, Zephyr Pandershi, I swear that I'll kill you. Swords in hand, she walked back towards Zepan. Wow.
Ooh.
This really was a Zepan-ass moment.
Yeah. Would you live in Zepan after what you've seen?
I wouldn't, but if I was forced there and I had to see all that shit come up, I would be like, "I love you, Pandershi," to the door every day.
Yeah, that's what I fucking thought.
Yeah, I would not hesitate. I would not resist. The minute I saw 1 star with a victim, I'd be like, "I love you."
You would never see
Pandershi."
that though.
Oh, then maybe
He's
I
got great
resist a little.
PR.
This is terrible. Okay, questions. Wiser asks, since it experiences emotions, could the tower unlock Aether? If so, what is its Aether core?
It could certainly unlock Aether. It's Aether core. It would. It's. I don't want to say like it's love. That's fucking lame. But
did you see my response, or did you?
I just mocked you. I didn't even see it.
I said love.
Mind you.
Oh, I'm lame. I'm corny.
But I just mean it feels lame to have it's like, oh, it feels one emotional time, but its Aether core is the opposite emotion. It would be something just sort of. I would think it would be something mundane.
That's exactly why I picked that. You're so mean to me.
Rockshot, has Rockshot asked this question before? Because I feel I've heard this question. Has there been anyone else in history of Cyberpunk to get Rainbow Aether? Well, there's been a question about Rainbow Aether, I'm sure, at least in the past. Probably at some point. Yeah. It's not like SSR Aether, but I'm sure someone else has had it. It's just the ultimate form of those multicolored Aethers, basically.
Yeah. Wait, you didn't
But
answer
it's not
the
like...
question. What is the tower's core?
Oh, let's say it's something mundane. Let's say...
Pick something mundane.
Like buyer's remorse. I don't know.
Buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
Just wait until not Pandershi. Wait until the tower buys a PS5, unlocks Aether.
Where are the games? Damn you, Edgar.
I can't wait to read this series I purchased, Solo Leveling.
Edgar! If there was like a parody comic, that would be his little gag. He would just blame that kid for everything.
Stift asks, if an Aether ability copy, like Badge of Honor or a certain other ability is used, would the Aether you use at the time rely on your Aether core for full potential, or the originator's core?
It depends on the mechanics of the ability. I would say for the certain other ability, it would rely on their Aether core. You get better results with their Aether core because you're actually using their Aether.
Mm-hmm.
With Badge of Honor, it's more like you're basically emulating their Aether, so it relies on your Aether core.
I see. Weiser asks, obviously Lucifer Westmore isn't a celebrity in the level of Negan Rush or Balte Kojiro, but could a member of the public reasonably know how he fights or what weapon he uses if they looked him up?
They could probably get a vague idea. Maybe not like some of the stuff we saw, it was like he had all the little tricks of it, but the fact that he uses like batons, for example, you would know. And everyone would be like, how do you fucking blade? That's not a sword.
Yeah. It's not a sword, not at all.
He's not a sword. He's not fucking fit. He was in there for 2 months. He's not a proper blade. Get him off the forums.
Get him off the forums.
Yeah, there's
All
like
right,
he's in the trading cards. They're like, he's not a real blade. He shouldn't be counted.
Has there ever been like a special officer who's a trading card who was really mad at how bad of a card they were?
Samael.
Yeah. He's like, what do you mean all I do is generate tokens? I'm useless!
It's like, no, what are tokens any good for? You can't use them for anything. He doesn't have any of the other cards. You need to use the tokens. He doesn't get it. How do I make the attack points go up?
Lan asks, is there a maximum number of places on the UAP's Central Governing Council? What qualifies a place to become a member?
There is, it's 10 places in the council, and they're elected based on, because there's like 10 major sectors in the UAP, basically, territorially. And they're elected by the various systems in each sector to represent them, basically. If there was a rapid expansion and like there was an 11th sector, then another seat would get added to the council.
I see. Room actually has a really good question. How mentally cognizant are you right now?
I'm here.
Alright, let's make this the actual last one. Room asks, Tanhoney, since you've written both, what is the difference in approach in writing a stand and an Aether ability?
I would say it's like similar things like Nen. You've made the Aether ability. And most of the time you made the Aether ability, you have an intention going into it. A stand, although it still sort of reflects your soul to a degree, you're basically dealing with what you have been given still. So I would say stand ability can be less intentional and more weird without given justifications for it.
Whereas when you make an Aether ability, you think about who the person is.
Exactly, yeah, and you have to think why they did that, why it does. If there's a weird element to the ability, what is the benefit of that weird element? So
right.
I wouldn't say it has to be. It can't be as silly. Maybe it can be. It's a little less silly, or if it is silly, it's intentionally so. It has to be in universe.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. All right. Well, thank you all for watching, and hey, maybe we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.